Hello everyone and welcome to Arena Aftermath, your weekly recap show of the Summoners War World Arena Championship 2019. Today we're going to be going over Group Stage C, which concluded last Saturday. My name is Evan, and I'm still at the desk with Stoic and Make It a Bud. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Doing excellent.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. So before we get too deep into things, let's go ahead and take a look at the results from that tournament. There we go. You can see all the matches lined out for you right there. You see Tiger took the win against Roman Fury in the beginning. Match 2, Silent took the win over Barian. Tiger took the win over Silent, which ultimately put him as our first winner and sent him to the America's Cup on August 31st. Then we had Barian win against Roman Fury. Barian moved on to the last chance match against Silent, where Silent became our second winner of the day, securing the second ticket to the America's Cup. There's a look at the group stages that we've seen so far. So we're now concluded A, B, C, and we're looking forward to D next Saturday at noon o'clock Pacific, same time, same place. Looking forward to Topa V, Fate Memory, Michael Yan, and Truffle Salad. Are you guys looking to any matches in particular?
Topa V and Fate Memory matches.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking
definitely.
forward to see Fate Memory with Michael Yan to see what kind of tricks and toys that Fate Memory brings out. At the same time, looking to see between Topa V and Truffle Salad how the two balance, one not having a Yun Hong and the other not having a Vanessa, seeing how that interaction pans out.
And now we're looking at the Europe Cup right now. So we saw Blue and Baus move forward from Group C, and they still have Group D to go through. What do you guys think about Group D and some of the results leading up to it?
Well, I mean, we have DGP down there, and he was the winner last year, moving on to Worlds. Not just the European Cup, Worlds he moved on to. So DGP being a really, really good player in that group, but Obabo's coming in strong this year.
Obabo's a very good player. He does stream a lot and he does compete and does take wins off a lot of the top players in the world. So looking forward to seeing strong showing from him. He's been able to use a lot of units like Light Cowgirl actually very effectively. So I can't wait to see some of these drafts and plays that he'll have.
And that's the Europe Cup. Let's go ahead and take a look at the APAC Cup, the Asia Pacific Cup so far, where we saw Beat D get knocked out recently by Pear.
And I was very surprised at first to hear that BT got knocked out, but when I went to check him draft a level 39 Clara, I was not surprised anymore. So
the level 39.
Their level 39 unit, I think he really should have at least just summoned a few more monsters and fed it and level 40'd it. And at the same time, you know, when you're bringing in a Nat 4 without max base stats, I mean, that's just not a good thing for a world tournament like this.
And what a way to start off the Asia Pacific Cup. I mean, you look at that Group A and you're like, wow, Beat D, wow, Osei, wow, they're knocked out. And we've got Per Lucky God moving forward in Group A. Man, what a turn of events for just that group.
And we'll be sure to keep up with these groups as we go forward with more Arena Aftermaths in the future. But now that we've had the chance to look at SWC at a global scale, let's go local for a second, because now we have the opportunity to talk to a couple of our winners from today via Skype. We've got our first winner from that tournament, Tiger, ready and waiting in an interview. Let's take a look at some of the highlights that we saw on Saturday. So here's a couple moments from Tiger's matches that we saw. What's going on here, guys?
We see Diana take an additional turn and downing the monkey in 2 shots here. That Diana just doing a lot of work here. And at the same time, we see Tiger's just Sierra's just so overpowering, ending that match with a bang there. So taking Roman Fury down 2-0, Tiger's showing dominance in that matchup.
That's right, you can see this Hellfire coming out, finishing off that Fran, and what a way to start a match than removing a unit like that.
Yeah, and actually in this game though, he actually faced some issues with Silent, where Silent was able to claw his way back to victory, but then Tiger, down 0-1, comes back and actually wins 2 games straight. So showing us some mental resilience, able to show some innovation with that Jean and Vertihile pick.
Bringing that Jean back is so cool to see, by the way. Haven't really seen that in an SWC situation since last year.
Probably my biggest highlight seeing Jean, because like I said before, the perfect draft for Jean is the best draft for Jean.
Exactly. I mean, just when your opponent has no immunity and then you have a Vertihile to pump and constantly give you extra turns, such a great unit. And then obviously showing that control with the Okeanos. Just overall great solid drafts by Tiger.
Lots of great plays. Tiger, how are you? You're on Arena Aftermath.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, it's the 3rd time for me to go to the regional finals. It's very good feeling.
That's awesome. It's got to be exciting. I was saying before the cameras turned on, it feels like just yesterday that I was interviewing you at America's Cup 2018. So I'm really looking forward to getting the chance to see you again this time. Is there anybody that you're looking forward to fighting at the America's Cup?
Yeah, not really.
Not looking forward to.
Not looking forward to it because, like you said, it's a pretty stacked tournament.
It is a pretty stacked tournament. Obviously, Tiger is Tiger. He'll find a way to win. So, see what he has in store for us.
Yeah, compared with the previous 2 years, I feel this year it's much more competitive and a lot of, because we have loser and winner bracket, so it's like a lot of OP players. That's very competitive tournament.
In terms of this match, you had a great showing. I know previously I felt like you hadn't played a lot on the ladder, but how did you prepare going into this day today in this group stage?
Yeah, it's like what I mentioned. It's like this year is very difficult, especially the Group C, since like I believe all the other 4 players, they are super strong. And what I did is I just watched their replays, which has a lot of information, like kind of review their strategy and their playing styles. For me, it's pretty challenging since like I didn't play too much on the last season. So for me, it's pretty tough to catch it up and catch it up the meta and analyze what's the fun pick, what's the draft. Yeah, that's pretty like that.
Well, overall, it looks like you really capitalized on that. Not only caught up, but maybe even invented a new part of that meta with that Jean pick. So I really like the way you prepped, and clearly it panned out today, and you played very well.
Yes, thank you.
Tiger, so for that match that you drafted, that Jean, was there another unit that you had in mind, or were you 100% set on drafting Jean that last match?
I think the reason to use strong is because silent, it doesn't have any immunity. So I picked Wind Desert Queen, and Zhang is like I have 2 double CC and plus a constant attack bar boost. It's like 40% attack bar boost, which has potential to make the CC consistent. It's like that's the strategy.
Clearly it paid off. I absolutely loved that draft in that match.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us in the interview, Tiger. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, it's my pleasure to have the interview.
All right, we'll look forward to seeing you at the America's Cup on August 31st. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
All right, now we've got Silent ready for his interview, but before we hear from him, let's take a look at some highlights from the show last Saturday.
All right, so this was a great showcase of some math. Some math of doing tons of AoE damage, basically a ticking time bomb for Barian, and basically taking the game right there.
I wasn't prepared to start with that one. That was a huge move. I love that one because it's so inevitable. It's like, what can you do? You have to attack the Sabath. You're dead. You're looking right in the eye of your loss.
Exactly, and at this point too, Silent, I remember is Aegir doing tons of work to Barian and just overpowering Barian here. Such a well-runed unit, and then at the same time also getting a couple additional turns here and there, but then sealing the victory. And so we see that this Aegir is going to town on Barian and just keeps going and eventually takes out that Josephine there.
Yeah, that was a match he had to gain a lot of control and slowly whittle down Barian unit by unit.
Oh, the big miss.
Big mistake from Barian.
Big mistake from Barian. At the same time, though, Silent's quite far ahead at this point anyways. But then that Diana just too good, too tanky. He was down 0-1. This was an elimination match. Does the cheeky human form attack
Staying
there.
in human form, finishing off a unit, not knowing that he didn't need to transform.
And then at match point here, you know, he's already got the control from the Okeanos, gets that full team stun to secure it. But this Diana's just going ham here, and Barian has no answer to this at the moment.
That was such an important victory there, taking him on that last one, knowing that he had double immunity, and still you were able to push through and finish him off with that one.
Yeah, and that was the match that ultimately got him the trip to the America's Cup on August 31st. We've got Silent on the phone right now. Silent, are you there? Hey!
Hey guys.
How's it going?
What's going on, man?
How do you
Good,
feel?
man. I'm psyched, man. I really had no expectation that I would make it out of this group alive, so this is huge.
You had such a great showing, though, and such a consistent pick ban phase, too. Your drafts were impeccable.
Thanks. Yeah, I really prepared a lot. You know, I studied my opponents with my teammates, so my SSA crew really helped me out there. The practice with Thompson, Roman Fury, Stoic, Trokamu, and Michael. I mean, I couldn't have done it without them, and really, it's amazing being this far into the tournament.
It really showed, man. All that prep really showed. It was a great show in the tournament. So happy you made it. Excited to meet you at the on August 31st. That'll be really cool.
Yeah, very excited to meet you for sure. And it's so cool because I get to see all that background stuff with us, and you can tell like you were legitimately nervous going into most of your matches, and you can see that like unsure feeling behind it. But to have you come out on top like that was awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I was super nervous, and Varian's, I mean, he's an amazing player, and he's notorious for how fast he is. It was a gamble for me. I ran the fastest units that I could. It was honestly, a gamble if I could outspeed him or not, and thank God that I did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just great prep. I think that was a lot of your prep was figuring out kind of what Barion's speeds are, and then we saw that you went for either the outspeeding route or completely the surviving route. There's no in between, which is why your draft was so solid today. So thought you played pretty perfectly here, and we'll be looking forward to see you again in America's Cup.
Yeah, thanks. I can't wait to see you guys.
I want to bring up a moment. Barion chose to target your Ciara. How did you feel when you saw that?
Yeah. The big punish.
Man, I gotta be honest, I was in the zone, so I wasn't really even thinking about it. When he went for the Sierra, I knew that it was going to be a huge advantage for me because, one, he wasn't going to be able to kill off my Sierra, and then it boosted my Diana in front. If he hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to get the strip and then set my Sierra up for the bomb. She did her job, and then after that, it was all Diana.
That was awesome. It was so awesome to see that.
Incredible moment.
So happy for you, man.
And I
really.
felt like he was getting comfortable in the matches too. Like as much as he was nervous, I didn't feel that as much when we saw that Diana human form do those like attacks there to just say, hey, I just won the match. I'm gonna stay in human form and just attack you with an auto attack.
Just a beep.
I like that. I love that a lot. Showing a little of the attitude in the middle of the game, just asserting dominance with his victories.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was huge. I can't believe it, No way I would have thought that I would have beat Barry in 2 best-of-3.
Well, you did, and that's how you're punching your ticket to come hang out with us in LA. So looking forward to see what you bring to the table. Maybe we'll see that Oberon in LA. That would be great to see.
Oh, and I did want to ask too. So last year, Barion was the one that knocked you out of the tournament before. How did it feel to have that revenge this time around? Twofold in 2 best-of-3s.
When I saw the brackets, I thought for sure this was a setup because Tiger eliminated me in 2017, Barion eliminated me in 2018, and I'm like, I'm gonna go out like this again. So yeah, I'm just really happy that I was able to pull it off. You guys do a great job casting, so thanks to you guys for making this exciting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. That means
Thank
a lot. All right, well, Silent, thank you so much for joining us here today. Oh, one last thing. Who's holding the camera?
That's my wife, Melody. She supports me all the way with this game, so I couldn't do it without her either.
I love that. Absolutely love that because I also am married and my wife supports me every bit of the way as well. So that's awesome to see.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, Silent. Can't wait to see you on August 31st. And again, congratulations.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. There we go. We just heard from our second winner of the day, Silent. And now let's go ahead and talk about our Monster MVPs in this week's Monster Minute. All right, guys, so what was a monster that brought you a particular amount of joy in Group C?
I think we can all agree that Samoth draft was nice.
I have to agree with that. That was absolutely incredible to see it in play, to see so much damage come out of that Samoth.
Yeah, it actually made my day when I saw it drafted back then. It was pretty incredible. So Stoic, why don't you tell us what Samoth does? Because it's not really a unit that you see too often in SWC.
Well, so Samoth in that draft, he probably needed his speed lead as well. So you're going to get a 33% speed lead coming from Samoth. And then also he's got glancing on his first skill, which can be used on certain units like a Diana's, which is very helpful. We have that second skill, Overwhelm, which can reduce everyone's cooldown by 1, which is very helpful as well. So the passive is where it really came into play in that match. So there was a cleave team being put up against him. So if that Samoth dies, he's going to return and do damage, which can ultimately eliminate a whole team. And it was almost the case that we ran into, where I believe we had Barion with 3 units on the field, and it was just that one lonely Samoth. So with how RTA works, we had the match progressing, attack powers going really high at this point, came out and did a ton of damage, eliminating all 3 units, and Samoth was the victor on that field.
Yeah, and it's really something when you can't just skip your turn. You got to attack it even when you know it's going to die and possibly kill all of the remaining units on your team. It's super inevitable is the word I'd like to use. Make it a bud. How did you like the way that Samoth was employed at that tournament?
Oh, so the way it was employed was very good. So it's primarily a damage dealer, but at the same time, that 33 speed lead came into huge effect because both players who used it, Roman Fury and Silent, used it against Barian. And Barian is known for very high speed, so that 33 speed lead is very important when Vanessa's gone. Now, when Samath was actually in play, we saw two very different builds. I didn't really see Silence get too many Despair stuns, so it could either be on a Swift build, Rage build, but we definitely saw Roman Furies on a Violent build. So Samath is typically on a Despair Nemesis or Despair Will build for arenas. But in RTA, when you put it on a Violent build, it does have the ability to take additional turns, apply more damage. It's a speed crit damage attack monster, so that's a lot of damage that's being done over time. So we saw both instances in which it was primarily used for the speed lead, but also double down in which it was able to provide a lot of damage, and especially in that one match we saw where Samath with that passive kicking in, doing a lot of AoE damage to the opposing team, and then using a Ganymede to ventilate that passive again, meant it did a lot of damage 2 times in a row. So a lot of damage, massive damage coming out from Samath, and at the same time, also providing that speed lead of 33% in Arena.
All right, so that's a quick look at how Samath became our favorite monster from Group Stage C. And now we're going to break down round 2 of the last chance match between Silent and Barian in this week's Battle Breakdown.
Alright, so in this match here, you see that Silent does have the ability with the Okeanos to open up on Barian, chooses to go for the reset on the Daphnis, which is absolutely the correct move because Barian threatens a lot of damage with both Daphnis and Molong, with a lot of damage coming onto one unit at one time. So you're going to see Barian is going to go and focus and tunnel down on this Diana.
That's right. Molong's going to come in. He's going to Reckless Assault it. Things are not looking good. When you see Reckless Assault going out, you think a unit might be going down. And if Silent had lost that Diana, I'd be feeling it just a little bit. Like, I'd be really nervous for a fellow guildie, because in a 4v3, it's not looking good when your main damage dealer gets removed.
Yeah, and at this point here, Silent's just trying to stay alive, trying to keep this Diana alive while applying pressure to this Molong, dealing damage to it so that when that Reckless Assault comes back, he does not have enough HP to seal the deal. So it's just a tug of war here of trying to do enough damage to this Diana, and you can see that that Diana is only at about 1/3, even 1/4 health left, trying to stay alive by the skin of its teeth here.
That's right. And you'd think, like, not having a ton of sustain on your team, that Barian would have been afraid to wreck this out so early, but the Raccoon was just bringing so much passive healing to that Molong, and it was scary throughout the match.
Yeah, and you see here that Barian actually misplays here because he uses that Hellfire from the Daphnis onto the Diana, but Triana's passive is up. So whenever, Daphnis does damage, but it does damage to itself, it really does, it's not as effective, and in this case, kind of cost Barian the game there.
That's the saddest part, is when Daphnis is the only one that's left harmed after a Hellfire. It was absolutely devastating. Great match. Thank you guys for breaking it down. Now we finally made it to our last segment of the day, where I have 60 seconds to recap everything that happened at the SWC Group C stage. This is Summon It Up. So first off, we saw Roman Fury fight against Tiger, and unfortunately, David could not defeat this Goliath, and he dropped into the loser's bracket. But Tiger came back from a 0-1 deficit against Silent and ultimately became the first ticket holder for the America's Cup and the first winner through winner's bracket. Then we dropped down into loser's bracket, and we saw Silent fight Barian twice and win. Then Silent got revenge on Barian and came back from that 0-1 by keeping his Diana alive and making sure that no misplay went unpunished. His Diana stayed alive and stayed kicking through the entire match. He was able to pull out a win, and then the second time, he punished the targeting on Ciara and was able to place a key bomb on Barian's units. This has been an awesome couple weeks in the group stages. America's Cup is on August 31st. Tickets are on sale now. Can't wait to see Group D, and I'll take that as a time with 10 seconds in my back pocket. I'll keep those for next time. Maybe I'll get rollover minutes for the next Summon It Up. Whew. All right, so looking ahead, we've got Group D coming up ahead of us. Who are your guys' favorites for that?
I would love to see Topa V do well in Group D. He didn't do so hot last year, so I'm looking forward to see some more action from him this year.
And I think Faint Memory is going to come out as the #1 out of Group D, because Faint Memory, as we saw in the prelims, has very good pick and ban. Almost took Tree out, but Tree's luck meter was through the roof there. Fran Vile proccing a lot. So Faint Memory here, will be able to do very well. And at the same time, I don't think we'll be seeing triple dogs as he's been testing. It does not work. So when he plays standard, Faint Memory is very difficult to defeat.
We'll have to see what happens next week. Be sure to tune in for Group Stage D, and we'll see you right back here for Arena Aftermath. Same time, same place. Thank you for watching. See y'all next time. Hey everybody, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy content like this, maybe consider subscribing to the channel and also scoping out another video from it. We'll be updating a lot, and if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Summoners War content, make sure to follow us on social media, which we have linked in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.